Eddie, are you still there? We're having internet issues.
The Grok is coming to Teslas.
Why hasn't Tesla just relieved the CEO of his duties?
Oh, the Apple Watch Series 11 and Ultra 3, they're apparently getting 5G, according to rumors.
Hold on! Hold on! You mean these devices have been using LTE this entire time?
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast, and as always, I'm Teddy Macker from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf.
And even though TabCat406 has not responded to us, who's the other host of this show, he is currently undergoing physical therapy, so he is not with us tonight, but without further ado, let's go and let's get started with some two quick housekeeping notices before we get on to the actual content of the show. So firstly, in case you can't tell by my forehead, these are the stitches I got in my forehead, because in case you can't see, for like the past year I've had this annoying massive cyst on my forehead that's been clearly visible for quite a while, so I have stitches to get that removed, but that's just what those are, in case you notice. But also, this is kind of the thing that goes hand in hand. So I'm currently out of state right now as I'm recording this. And that being said, that means that unless I have some downtime tomorrow night, I'm most likely going to prioritize most of the editing once I get back home. So as a result, this episode is going to release a day or two, possibly even 3 days later than usual. As I usually like to release these on Sundays and Monday days, but this might release slightly later than that, shall we move on to the actual content of this episode now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So firstly, other than that this is actually the first episode I haven't recorded at home. So, hang on, how do I get out? So this right here is an email I got from tanpost.com@gmail.com, and this guy asked, "Hi, do you want a professional mobile-ready Google-friendly website for your podcast? It uses AI to auto-update with your latest episode. It's only $9 per month. I can give you a 30-day free trial. Let me know. Thanks, Mike." Now, this guy, Mike, clearly doesn't know me that well to know that, well, I have not only posted a Google site for my official channel and this podcast, so I already have a site, but also I can also build HTML myself, so
What also goes to show his stupidity is, oh, it uses AI to do You need AI to build this thing? Why are we hiring you?
yeah.
In fact, honestly, if I were an employer looking for employees, any employee that tells me, oh, I know how to use AI, they ain't getting a job. Not from me, at least.
Yeah, me neither, but that's basically the podcast we're streaming out. I'm sorry, Mike, but if you're watching this, I'm sorry, or listening to this, I'm sorry, Mike, but I'm not interested. But shall we talk about our next topic, which is at the same time interesting and not interesting?
Sure.
So Google is killing off something else. Yes, they are killing off ChromeOS. So basically, back in the early 2010s, basically what happened is that there were a lot of cheap Android laptops, and then Google released ChromeOS, which took over that section, and now because Google loves to kill off projects, as we all know, in this tech space, ChromeOS, all these laptops are now going to start running Android. And if I had to guess, I think that Google's doing this because just in case they are forced to sell Chrome and not Android. Which, in my opinion, they should be forced to sell Android, because if they have to sell anything, because Google Google did create Chrome in their defense. They created Chrome. They did not create Android, though. They bought them, so...
Yeah, I mean... ChromeOS has always been an interesting one to me, because for one, there is one thing that I do like about the operating system, because from a on-device standpoint, it barely needs any hardware to function because it's just a web browser. That enables mass deployment of insanely cheap hardware that it's very useful. Like, we know schools are the most common places that buy these Chromebooks because everything is based on the internet now, and well, you don't need this super advanced high-end PC to run a garbage piece of software of an operating system and pay thousands upon thousands out the wazoo for Microsoft Office and all of that. No, when ChromeOS came along, it made a big impact for schools. But I find that outside of the schooling environment, what can I get rid of this stupid pop-up thing there? I find outside the schooling environment, this is what Google's been trying to do for a while. They've been trying to get outside of the schooling environment. The problem is, because ChromeOS it's basically Google Chrome, well, the second you take it outside of a school environment, it's not particularly all that useful.
I mean, you can download Android applications onto it, so, you know...
But are they optimized for a mouse and an actual keyboard and...
No. Or some maybe, but I highly doubt it.
That, and also, like, the Android apps that are available, which we've been dunking on the iPads for a while because of their lack of professional apps. Dude, Android got no professional apps. Nothing.
No.
Because they're designed to run on $200 smartphones.
Exactly. They're not designed. Exactly. And to be honest, the reason why this is not interesting is because even though Google is changing one of their major platforms at the same time, I mean, ChromeOS is literally just a build of Android if you think about it, since, I mean, ChromeOS and Android are both basically Google builds of Linux that run the same application, so...
Yeah, but the reason why I've been going off on this whole monologue thing is I know that Google for the longest time has been trying to get Chromebooks, or that type of category in particular, to take off, but the problem is they just don't work well in the home. Second you got an internet outage, oh, it's a giant paperweight.
Same. I understand what you're talking about because, I mean, at the end, I never grew up with unreliable internet, so I can't necessarily relate to that quite as much, but I understand that the no internet problem is a massive problem. But the other problem with Chromebooks is that they can't do enough to where to more. I can't grab it right now because I'm not at home, but if I were at home, I would go to my bookshelf and I would pull out my old Lenovo Chromebook C330 that I had, and back when I was in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I used to use the thing sometimes. I mean, it was a nice laptop on the face of it. However, the problem that I kept coming back to every time was, this is my iPad Mini 7, so it's not the right iPad to show, but the problem I kept coming back to was that my Chromebook just, all it was really just an Android device on Chrome. All it really was an Android device on a keyboard and trackpad. That's really all it was for me. And I'm like, if this is just an Android, and because the outside of the school environment, I never really had a need for that kind of stuff. I just like, and I could get keyboards from my iPad. I'm just like, why would I even bother using this when I could just use my iPad? So.
Oh, and then you got your MacBooks too, because I mean, you want Chrome OS? All you have to do, download Google Chrome onto your Windows laptop, your MacBook. Boom! You have Chrome OS.
Also, you can install Chrome. Also, you can install Chrome OS Flex, like the actual operating system, onto computers. Which I've heard that this has mixed results on Macs, but Actually, I've never seen this actually working on Mac, but I know on PCs you can do that too. But yeah, Chrome.
I think it's because Macs tend to use higher end hardware and ChromeOS doesn't know how to handle it.
I mean, like ChromeOS Flex can be used on it supposedly can work on really old old Intel Macs, like your old iMac could probably run ChromeOS Flex, but I've never seen it. But I've never heard anybody actually getting it working on an old Mac.
I still don't know why anybody would want to do that though, because again, it's basically the hardware of the laptop, the hardware of the device that's running doesn't even matter at that point, because all it is just a web browser.
Exactly. Like the only reason why somebody would do that is just because they're bored, want to experiment.
Effectively. So.
Yeah. It's effectively for computer nerds, but that's...
So I'm wondering if Google's trying to merge it with proper Android. The reason they're doing it is because, they want proper applications outside of Google Chrome. But even then, again, it's Android.
Chromebooks could already run Android applications, though, so that's not... I still have my guts telling me that this is likely due to the antitrust case.
Yeah, I've got no clue what's going on with that.
Because Google I know already started adding like the Android desktop mode feature because they were gonna have to sell off Chrome, if the case they had to sell off Chromes, which means they wouldn't have ChromeOS. So that's, in my opinion, Google still wants to have their own share, which is why you're going to use Android. While if Google Chrome secedes or is forcibly split up, then ChromeOS will become effectively a rival.
Come to think of it, I don't think I've used a Chromebook in I haven't used a Chromebook in over 6 years. Come to think of it.
The last time I used a Chromebook other than just charge up my Chromebook just to make sure it's still working fine is in 2023, and I think I have turned on my Chromebook in the last year. I think I've done it within the last year. And sometimes I'll turn it on, but yeah, I don't use ChromeOS anymore either, because once I
mean, why would you?
Because,
you got your MacBook.
Yeah, even back in early 2020... Remember back in early 2021 when I used my mid-2010 MacBook Pro for school?
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's because that computer... I was okay with going down to a computer that was downgrading to a computer that was 8 years older, just so that way I could get Mac OS, and because that would effectively work the same with a web browser. In hindsight, that was probably a stupid idea, because that computer, it works fine. It's retirement. It's never worked fine as a main computer, except for that one time when I had to dust off the back of it because it collected so much dust somehow back in 2023. Otherwise, it's been working great. Ever since I retired it, which I had to retire in August 2021. Yeah.
I learned something interesting about my iMac when the old one on my desk. I opened it up. I tried to open a Google Docs document on it. Apparently, the web browser on the Safari on the old iMac is so old that apparently it won't support all of the features in Google Docs today.
Given that most of the features are probably AI based, that's just fine.
Yeah, if that's the case, then who gives a crap? But it actually wouldn't let me edit it because it couldn't load the document properly because, hey, we're missing these features. So, yeah, unfortunately, I can't use the old iMac for Google Docs anymore. I can still use Pages with it, though.
Yeah, you can the offline... on on whatever word processing app that's on my Macintosh Plus, which I can't figure that out because I'm not home right now. Like if I got Microsoft Word on my Macintosh Plus via an external floppy drive, I could use that thing for the keyboard for it is missing a few keys, but if that thing didn't have missing keys on its keyboard, then I could use that thing for word processing just fine.
Oh, dude. I finally opened up my book again last week. I realized I hadn't touched that thing in 4 years at this point. But let me tell you, now that I've opened it up and started writing again, or excuse me, typing, dude, Apple knows how to build a keyboard.
Yes, they do.
I just have to say this. I mean, for the longest time, I've been using a cheap $30, still a chiclet style keyboard, and I will always take those over the bulky, high travel mechanical keyboards. But yeah, for anyone thinking that it's impossible for a quality chiclet style keyboard to exist, that's a quality keyboard. And now I understand why it costs around $200. Amazing typing experience. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say on the ChromeOS thing.
All right, well, shall I move on to our next topic, which is actually a fascinating one?
Dishonest people targeting dishonest people.
So, scammers are targeting dishonest people to attempt to send so basically the idea, so they want to send their SafePal wallet to Binance by revealing seed phrases somewhere on social media, and the idea behind the scam is that they mandate signatures, and it's in basically one cryptocurrency, but in order to access it, you have to deposit another cryptocurrency into the account, and you also have to have a signature, which you can't get. So in other words, the scam is that it basically you think you're going to get about $1,000 worth of crypto because it's in the account, but in order to access it, you have to basically pay other crypto, and they're not going to give you the code to it, so as the signatures to it. So in other words, yeah, it's a people targeting dishonest people.
It is a good thing I am not in the crypto world because that makes absolutely no sense.
Basically, did you understand at least one point what the gist of why I said?
A few bits and pieces. It's just crypto in general just doesn't make sense to me. I've tried to understand it time and time again, and I've only come to the same conclusion every single time.
It's stupid.
Well, not just that, but what it really is effectively gambling, but in disguise.
Yeah, cryptocurrency to me is, well, not only gambling, but also just, it's like, cryptocurrency is not, it's not money. Like, all these cryptocurrency enthusiasts, what they say is, like, it's bull.
Yeah. Ultimately, I understand. There are some people who do understand this stuff, and they found a way to get rich off of it. But ultimately, because I'm not in the world of finance, it's just not my space. The only thing that I know about financing and care about is stability is key.
Yes.
That's just because I'm not a financial expert. And so I prefer to put my money into things that are stable and not likely to fall in value.
Exactly.
Even though pretty much everything falls in value. Like, I've invested a lot of money into my tech, but tech depreciates over time unless, if say we're an original sealed iPhone, then that's a
or until you wait
asset.
long enough.
Yeah.
If you wait, in 40 years, they'll probably be in somewhat high value again.
Mm-hmm. that and the other thing left is like a house because there's only so much land. So I am in a very, very frustrating period right now where I don't know what to do about getting out of here, but I just wish this housing market would calm down to something more reasonable so that way I don't have to work so hard and lose my mind over how much money I'm going to have to spend. But that's a problem for another day and another time. So.
Yep. Do you have anything more to say about this crypto scam, or shall I move on to a
No,
waste of,
again,
what seems like a waste of
space.
money?
This isn't my space, so I can't really say anything about it.
All right, well, and our next topic is the Razer DeafAdder V4 Pro, which is a $170 gaming mouse.
Funny enough, because the mouse pad that I'm using at work finally is... It is so sticky. I cannot slide my mouse across it, which is the whole point of a mouse pad. My mouse pad at work finally... Time to retire that. I threw that away, so I decided to look for a new high-quality desk mat for the office. So I'll take a picture of it, but you're probably not going to see it here again because it'll be at the office. But I ordered an LTT desk pad for $35. I don't know if that's reasonable or not.
Yeah, that's at least it's not so high priced. I have to ask yourself.
It is on the higher end. It is on the higher end, but that's because if there's one thing I know about LTT's merch, they take so much pride in the quality of their products, and I would assume because they're like gaming enthusiasts, they want a mouse pad or a desk pad that can endure the wear of swiping a mouse all over the place. And so I wanted a high quality desk pad because I know the environment it's going to go in. So
yeah, that makes sense. I'm not personally a mouse pad user, but my grandma still uses an old Dell mouse pad that she's had since 2000. Since
those things are not
the 2000s. Yeah, it was since the 2000s. I'm gonna assume she got with one of her Dell computers, either an 01 or 06.
Yeah, they're not really high quality mouse pads. We've gotten them included with our Dell purchases, desktop purchases, but no, they typically only last like a month, and then you gotta throw them out.
Yeah, my grandma was actually quite lucky in that case.
I think it's because she just doesn't care.
That's true.
It's a mouse pad. Why would you care? So, but yeah, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because LTT has a bit of a special shopping thing going on right now. They're calling it Lime Day as a parody of Amazon's Prime Day. And so, yeah, included with my mouse pad. What is my sister texting? What's this? Someone completely forgot that I am filming. Okay. Anyway, what is coming with the desk pad is a Razer Adder mouse thing. As a part of their Lime Day promotion thing.
That's cool.
I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the level of this new mouse that you're talking about because they list it on their site as typically it's $30, but again, they gave it.
Oh yeah.
They gave it for free, so.
Yeah, as it's a $170 gaming mouse, it has buttons on it, and it uses a wireless receiver as its main goal is to prevent input lag.
Yeah. Oh yeah, $170. Yeah, especially for a gaming mouse. If it's wireless, yeah, it's going to get up there because they want to drive that latency down as much as possible. Sadly, the one that's coming is going to be wired, and I hate wired mice. I hate them so much.
Is it USB-C or USB-A?
I actually don't know. I didn't see an image of the plug.
Oh.
If I had to guess, it's most likely going to end up being USB-A because sadly the desktop PC industry in particular hasn't really gotten all that on board with the superior standard yet.
I mean, the alarm clock in my hotel right now has a Type A port on it still.
It's going to be an old one. But I mean, this case, it's a relatively modern design. No USB-C on the top I/O. And then the motherboard. What's my port situation looking like? I don't remember. Okay. So I see. Oh, are they all 3.0? Huh, that's nice. 6 USB 3.0s. So that's Type A. And then 2 Type Cs on the back of this motherboard.
And this is 2025.
Albeit the motherboard came out in... It's a used motherboard. When did it come out? Either way, it came out... It came out in a time when USB-C is still a very prevalent connector. So the fact that we have a grand total of 9 USB-As and 2 USB-Cs... PC industry. What the actual heck are you thinking? You're making yourself look so dated compared to Apple. My iMac is exclusively USB-C, minus the Ethernet port that's in the power brick.
My MacBook is also... Well, my MacBook doesn't have any USB-A ports in it, and I'm fine. And my MacBook's from 2023, and I'm fine with it that way. I mean, my 2019 MacBook Pro didn't have any USB-A ports with it, and I mean, granted I got in 2022, but I'm still fine with it.
Yeah, just in general. Why is the PC industry so behind when it comes to connectivity adoption?
I mean, we've talked about this on previous episodes, how PCs generally just look dated faster, so it's just the PC industry.
Yeah, they do. This form factor feels really dated. The fact that I need this big box... Oh, okay, well, because I'm putting a bunch of hard drives in it, okay, I need it to be big. You do. But even if you're not putting a bunch of hard drives in it, why is it this big? Teddy, are you still there? Uh-oh.
Alpha.
We're having internet issues.
Okay, he's coming back.
Come on.
Welcome back, Alpha. Hello? Buongiorno? Hello? Let's get a Mac ad reference.
Come on.
Okay, I can't hear Alpha. Oh, Alpha Zern has been in and out.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, my internet's been a little in and out. I'm not sure why, but so I'm gonna try leaving my camera off to see if that helps the bandwidth.
That probably will. I mean,
So,
my internet's also not the greatest right now because I'm not home.
yep. All right. So what were we discussing before we got derailed via internet?
The PC industry, USB.
Oh yeah.
USB.
Yeah, I was talking about form factors. I mean, I chose a big form factor case because I plan on putting a bunch of hard drives in it, so I actually legit need the space. But for those who aren't shoving a ton of hard drives in it, why are the cases still so freaking big?
I know, you need a small. I mean, you should still be able to have a relative. I mean, you should be able to reduce your computer's footprint.
I mean, small form factor builds are a thing. The problem is just nobody wants to go with them because, in combination, cooling designs for them are not particularly great. And, I wonder if maybe we could fix that by, I don't know, more efficient silicon, perhaps? Just suggesting?
Yeah.
You'd think it shouldn't be that hard, but no, there's so much with the PC industry that feels pretty dated at this point. Now, it does have its strengths. For one, the modularity and the repairability, because we've been doing it this way for years. Oh yeah, if something goes wrong with my custom build here, components are super easy to find to fix it.
Yeah, form factor is great for now if you're shoving a bunch of hard drives in it. And it was fine 20 years ago, but 20 years ago is not. I mean, it was even fine. I guess now I should say 30 years ago in some limited cases, but it was fine 20 or 30 years ago, but it's not fun. It's not so fine now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like
it wasn't even necessarily
the PC industry has stagnated, not because we have these amazing standards. The problem is we're not creating new standards that improve upon it, and when we do create them, they almost refuse to adopt the new standards. Like,
I know.
For example, in terms of power supply and motherboard technology, there's a new standard out there that has a much more efficient method of power delivery referred to as ATX 12 volt only, where unlike in a traditional computer, you need all sorts of different voltages for various components within the computer, and typically that's all handled by the power supply. The power supply delivers all of those random voltages to whatever components need it, but with ATX 12 volt only, the power supply exclusively delivers 12 volt power, and it's up to the motherboard to handle the rest of the voltage conversion.
That's handy.
Yeah, and supposedly this is supposed to be more efficient, power delivery wise. So, but for whatever reason, while the standard does exist, good luck finding any components on the market that actually adhere to 12 volt only. They're still, the majority of them is ATX, which is what I built my computer off of because that's the parts I can find. Finding ATX 12 volt only stuff, they almost don't exist. They do, but they almost don't.
Yeah, you need to be able to deliver power efficiently.
Yeah, and then the big reason why we're still using these big towers, the silicon is still so inefficient.
That's very true.
And because it's so inefficient, we need these big coolers to cool it. And so that's part of the reason why I'm a bit frustrated with the PC industry. It feels like it hasn't changed, and while yes, it does help with compatibility, and that is a good thing, the problem is it's now stagnated and almost removed any opportunity for improvement.
Which is how come the tech industry has gotten so boring.
That's a big part of it, and that's it's another reason to be excited for what Apple does, because Apple does not follow the traditional PC industry. Well, yes, they use a lot of the same components that make up a computer as the PC industry. A lot of it now is custom designed, but also, if you look at their custom designs, they make so much sense. Now, sure, Apple's going to be Apple and solder everything down and not make things modular, but I know Apple can make things modular if they wanted to, and if they did, they can still make it in small form factor with small form factor components.
They did that with the 2012 Mac, with the 2012 Mac Mini, I believe. Yes, they did.
Well, also, like, Apple hasn't completely given up modularity altogether, although it's in really dumb ways. The SSD situation with the Mac Studio and Mac Mini.
Oh, yeah.
So, if Apple had a thing for modularity anymore, I am 100% confident they can do it, and still in small form factors. Though I understand why they solder things down. Does it make it more difficult to repair? Absolutely. But there are performance benefits to soldering it down, and in places where Apple does, there are legit performance benefits to doing what it is they're doing, even if it comes at the cost of ease of repair.
Exactly. I mean, you have to remember that even Apple still has to make their stuff easy enough to repair so they themselves can easily repair it.
Well, their method of ease of repair is, let's swap out the whole logic board. Or even better, let's just give the user a brand new device and then send the old broken one back to the factory.
Oh, right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's typically how Apple does it, which it's not my preferred method, if I'm being honest.
No. That's not exactly the most eco-friendly way to do it.
I mean,
oh my gosh, I caught...
What?
I caught Apple not being eco-friendly.
Well, I mean, if they recycle the components, which is what I'm assuming they're doing, then... Because, like, if something goes wrong, say a component in a MacBook fails, if something goes wrong with the logic board, it's still a decent case and screen and keyboard and various other parts that they can salvage from it.
Okay, that's true, I guess.
So my guess is what they probably do is they take those good working parts into a refurbished center and match it up with other good working parts from other devices and refurbish them that way.
That makes sense.
Because, I mean, I know a lot of people want to throw this excuse out. Apple just wants to give you a whole new device, and they don't care about the environment. They just give you a whole new device and just throw the old one out. That's just not really all that true. I mean, I get why the haters say it. They want a reason to hate on Apple and their lack of wanting to repair items, because they do make it difficult to repair. That is a valid criticism. But to call the device instant e-waste if something breaks, dude, their refurbishment techniques are a lot more advanced than you think.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know what. How do we get in here?
Shall I move on to our next topic?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know how we even got here in the first place.
We got here by the Razer topic, but yeah, and then talking about your desk mat, but yes. So, moving on to this next topic, Lindy Yaccarino is stepping down as the CEO of X after 2 years due to her getting demoted following the X and XAI merger. Because yes, Elon Musk started spun-off XAI into a separate company and merged them back. But Elon Musk is becoming the CEO again.
Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
I know. Yeah, we got the whole tech community and the other kind of community to worry about now.
I know exactly what's going to happen on Twitter. It's just... And yes, I still call it Twitter.
Yeah, I know exactly what's gonna... I have a feeling I know what's going to... I mean, nobody's been talking about this too much yet, so I don't know if this will... I don't know exactly if this is going to...
Oh, you know Elon. He's going to make a public announcement on Twitter that, hey, I'm the CEO again. And then you'll get half of Twitter saying, yay, praise Elon. He's the best person in the world. And the other people saying he's the devil's child or something along those lines.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a... Shall we move on to our next topic, which is not much better, which is actually... Okay, this next topic is going to make the show explicit, but it's been going on, so we have to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, this whole thing.
So, Grok praised... So, Grok, which is the AI, which is Swear's AI, Grok praised Hitler, was taken offline, and then Grok 4.0 was released for $30 or $300 per month.
You guys remember Tay, right?
That was by Microsoft, but yeah, I remember that.
So, let's think about this not real hard. You don't have to think real hard about this. We came out with an AI thing with a personality. That AI thing with a personality got a little too smart and tried to launch a race war. And we've come, how many years later, with AI praising evil people?
9 years.
So, if I recall, that means in the past 9 years, the tech industry, in regards to AI with personality, has learned absolutely nothing.
No.
Am I right?
Yep.
So, I think I can confidently say in this regard, we as the human race have learned absolutely nothing from Tay then, if this happened 9 years later.
Correction. The tech industry, correction, XX did not learn from this mistake. I think everyone else is... To be honest, it's been 9 years, so not that many people remember Tay, but those who do have likely realized that, because it seems to me that this is just a random side tangent I'm going on, I guess, but I'm starting to notice a lot in the tech community how there's a lot of newcomers that don't necessarily remember everything that happened in our time, in our early days of the tech community.
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to notice, especially a lot in the vintage Apple collecting community, like, I'm noticing that so much because like, a lot of times with jailbreaking and downgrading, especially, like, things I've been doing for 6 years now, so I'm definitely not an amateur at that stuff anymore. That stuff is starting to become... That stuff is, like I get so many questions that are obviously by novice people, and I'm not trying to harp on them, but it's just, like, I'm starting to... I'm not necessarily getting old, but, I mean, I'm just starting to...
Dude, if you're getting old, then I must be ancient.
Yeah, but I'm not getting old, obviously, but I feels like the fact that no one else has made the connection to Tay has just kind of explains how...
That was the first thing I thought of. The second I heard the news, I instantly thought, oh, Tay. We've come full circle.
I didn't instantly think about Tay at first, but again, I guess the reason why I didn't think of Tay at first is because the Tay incident happened in 2016. Mind you, back then I was 8, and I mean, I had an old Twitter account back when I was 8, but I hardly ever used that. And so I did. And so, but even though my parents wouldn't have let me find out that kind of information anyway, so as a result, I didn't actually learn about the whole Tay thing until 2021 when I saw it in Mr. Who's the Boss Tech Fails video.
Oh yeah, same here.
So
I never remembered I never witnessed the whole thing live when it happened, but no, I learned from Mr. Who's the Boss about that as well. And the fact that the second that he even began the topic, I mean, yes, of course, you should have figured out, oh, it's a tech fails video. Of course something went wrong. The second that he mentioned AI with AI chatbot with a personality, I'm like, oh, where is this thing gonna go wrong?
by Microsoft, mind you.
Oh yeah, if it's by Microsoft, of course it's going to be a failure. But no, the second that he mentioned AI with personality, kind of like the droids from, I don't know, droids from Star Wars or Star Trek. I'm like, oh, where's this going to go wrong? It's probably going to want to start launching a war against everybody. And oh, sure enough, 30 seconds after he got into it, oh yeah, Tay tried to start a race war.
Yeah.
And now we got more AI BS praising war overlords.
Yep, I know it shouldn't be funny, but that's what's happening, I guess. But shall I move on to another topic? Speaking of Grok. So Grok is coming to Tesla's.
Why hasn't Tesla just relieved the CEO of his duties at this point?
I don't think they necessarily should. I get the. To be fair, you can argue
they should. They genuinely should. At this point, Elon has done political stuff aside. Politics is only a part of it, but there are so many other things that Elon has done to this company that has destroyed it from the inside. I don't understand why he's still CEO at this point. They really need to vote him off the board, just like what happened with Steve Jobs how many years ago.
I personally think they should leave Elon Musk on, just because he is, granted, he's still driving the company well enough, so I think he should be. And to be fair, you can argue that not everything that Teslas do are smart. Do we really need our car horns to smell like farts? Do we really need that?
That's not even the problem. The problem.
Or do we?
What do you know Tesla's mission statement by chance?
No.
Their mission statement, I quote, is to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. That is the sole purpose of the company. They have done that with the cars. They have done that with the supercharger network. And they've done that with solar. Now here's my question. How do robotaxis and the bot, Optimus, the bot thing, and apparently they're somehow mixed in with the whole AI thing too. How does that support the mission of the company?
Okay, I guess I should explain something, which is that it doesn't. It's expanding the company to other areas, because one difference I guess I should just talk about between the business practices in the Western world versus business practices in the Eastern world is that in the Eastern world, it's very in countries like Korea, China, and Japan, it's very common in those places to start. They have different words. They have a different word for it, but our word for it is called conglomerate. That's very common to have many companies do many different things, and so I think And so I personally like this idea of business practice a lot better versus having dedicated companies. I like the idea of a big conglomerate that does things. I mean, Tesla makes cars, so the robotaxi thing makes sense. I mean, they make moving vehicles, so I guess Tesla makes sense. I mean,
but here's the problem. Here's the problem with this whole conglomerate approach. Because like Samsung in the tech space is a ginormous conglomerate.
Oh no, Samsung's a conglomerate in more than the tech industry.
Yeah,
I mean, they have a military department, life insurance.
Effectively, they could run their own country if they wanted to.
Oh, actually, one of the people of the Lee family controls Samsung. Even though he'd been charged with drug charges, they actually let him go because he was of the family that run of the royal Samsung family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but my point is, with all of these gazillions of things that Samsung has to focus on, are they really making that great of products and all of that? All of those categories? Because, especially in the space that we care about, the smartphone space, Samsung continues to make a worse and worse phone with less and less features with the higher price tag every single year.
Okay, that's valid.
And this is why I am not happy that Tesla's kind of going for a similar approach here. Tesla, for the longest time, and it's kind of debatable today, but for the longest time, 5 years ago, you wanted an electric car? You got to get a Tesla. Literally, because in terms of an overall package, they did literally everything right. Efficiency, range, charging network is a big one. Literally, Tesla had the single best product on the market, and it showed. Despite that, we had, back in 2020, we had the Audi e-tron, we had the Porsche Taycan, we had a few other, the Mach-E had just come out too. We had all of these other electric car options, but they didn't even come close to what Tesla had to offer. Not even anywhere close. But now, today, when you look at the market, well, still, yes, Tesla does have a solid package, but you can buy other cars that even improve upon what Tesla already has. Like, you can get cars that charge faster, for example. Charging infrastructure, well, the supercharger network is open to others. So, like, Hyundais, they have NACS now. Tesla doesn't have that advantage anymore. Hyundais have NACS. Other vehicles have NACS too. Some other vehicles have better range than what Tesla has to offer, like the Lucid. In fact, Lucid right now is outselling the Model S and X combined, I believe. So, and when it comes to trucks, you'd think Tesla would have made this amazing electric truck that no one could compete with because Tesla does electric cars. I mean, in my personal opinion, in terms of lifestyle truck, the Cybertruck ain't it. In terms of best lifestyle truck, I think it's Rivian R1T. And in terms of actual proper workhorse truck, that's one of the GM electric vehicles.
I mean, once the Slate EV comes out, then I'm going to... In my opinion, I think the Rivian R1T is a little bit too pricey.
Oh yeah, it is.
So I prefer a Cybertruck for that reason. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
But yeah, the thing is, Tesla is now no longer the default. They're no longer the standout. Yeah, they clearly make the best electric cars anymore. Now, to be clear, they're still not bad. But the problem is the competition at this point has caught up to them so fast. I remember 5 years ago, we were talking about, oh, the competition's never going to be able to catch up to Tesla because they are so far ahead. And they were. And only in a handful of small areas, like software, for example, they still are. But that's pretty much it. Software is the biggest one that all of these other automakers just can't come close to. But if software isn't your thing, like you care about driving dynamics, dude, you got the Taycan. You care about fast charging speed and shortest road trip times. Again, Taycan is great for that. You want a 3-row crossover. Tesla only offers the Model X right now, which there's more rumors to that, which we'll be talking about later. But that you got options like the Lucid Gravity, the Kia EV9, and these aren't straight up trash anymore. Tesla now has competition, and I'd argue today, right now, because of robo-taxis, the Grok thing, and the Tesla bot, my personal opinion is because of all of these other things that Elon's trying to focus on, Tesla is now distracted.
There's only one reason why I think it's okay for Grok to come to Teslas, and that is to control full self-driving, which is, again, that's very useful for robotaxis.
It doesn't do that right now. It doesn't do that.
Oh, well, then Tesla needs to get on the 8 ball to integrate Grok into full FSD. They need to get on that.
So, yeah, I feel as they are so distracted right now because, well, ultimately, yes, the Model 3 is still the car that I'd end up buying because at this point I know I can trust Tesla to build a cohesive package. But there's a few things that I'm a bit disappointed in now. That I know I can buy other options that have faster charging, for example. I'm also not giving up on ChargePort anymore. Maybe I could get a slightly roomier or smaller... Like, options exist now. And Tesla only stands out in one way at this point, and it's software. But if you don't care about software or a minimalistic interior design, and for some, that's actually a downside, then, dude, your options are better than ever. And what does Tesla have to compete? And so I feel as of today, they are very distracted. And what proves that even more is the latest refresh of the S and the X. They are so lazy. All they did was add ambient lighting and a camera. A front camera.
When they could have increased charging speeds.
When they had every opportunity to redesign the powertrain, which, in my personal opinion, is a bit dated. I mean, the tri-motor powertrain is relatively new on the Model S platform, but, like, the battery pack. It's the same battery pack from 13 years ago. You don't think it's time for a new update to it? I mean, sure, they've been updating the energy capacity of the cells over time, but in general, it's been at the same voltage, everything's been running at basically the same spec since 2012, 2013. They had so much opportunity with this car, the S and the X. I would have been really excited to see Tesla get back in to, yes, we want to transition the world to sustainable energy. And by doing that, let's make great, competitive, and desirable electric cars.
Well, they might be doing that, with our next two topics. So shall we go ahead and discuss our next two topics to explain how Tesla is still seemingly interested in value?
Yeah, just a bit. But yeah, I need to tie up these loose ends real quick here, though. This is the ultimate reason why I think Elon needs to step down, or why Tesla needs to get rid of Elon as the CEO, because at this point he is distracting the company from what makes them great and ultimately the mission statement, because again, their mission, transition the world to sustainable energy. I don't see how FSD and robo-taxis and Tesla bots, I don't see how that transitions the world to sustainable energy. That's not following their mission statement. And ultimately, I care about the cars. Because that's what Tesla
sounds like they should
nails
just update their
best.
mission statement.
Either that or I don't know, but
Elon ran the company 5 years ago and he was still fine then, so it's clear. So I don't know if leadership is necessarily the right change, but
no, I genuinely do think it's time for a new form of leadership. At this point, I think of Elon as Tesla's equivalent to Steve Jobs. We had the visionary, and now it's time to mature. Tesla needs a Tim Cook.
Alpha, do you understand? Okay, let me explain what happened to Apple when they tried this approach, just so that you understand things. So you're saying that. So basically, what happened to Apple was that let me look up when the Apple III came out. But basically, when Apple released the Apple III, it was 1980. Okay, so after 1980, when the Apple III released, it was not known. It was a fanless computer back in 1980, mind you. Yes, Apple has been going fanless for years, but Apple made the Apple III fanless, and it was ultimately not living up to competition from IBM. And so they agreed that, I don't remember when all this time slap. I think in 1983, yes, 83, they decided that because Steve Jobs was young, he needed adult supervision. So they hired John Sculley to try to help out with that. Sculley and Jobs clashed because Steve Jobs I'm not going to say Elon Musk is quite like this, but Steve Jobs had a very aggressive personality. And I think it's safe to say Elon can be aggressive too. So
yeah.
Steve Jobs, because of his aggressive personality and his because he clashed with John Sculley, Steve Jobs was fired. And so John Sculley kept the company going, and John Sculley, because he didn't know anything about technology. He didn't know squat about technology to the point
and
where
that's why I said
Tesla
doesn't need a John Sculley. I said Tesla needs a Tim Cook.
But can I just
big
explain
difference
further more what happened? So you understand.
No, the thing is, I get what you're getting at. It's just I don't think you get what I'm getting at.
Basically, in short, what happened is that in the 1990s, they then had the two short-lived CEOs of Michael Spindler and then Gary. I don't remember his last name, but that Gary guy. And then they ultimately had to rehire Steve Jobs because they didn't know what they were doing. And of course,
yeah,
the board
they had no vision. They had no vision.
Board members are probably going to pick. They might not necessarily pick an EV enthusiast. So you have to remember that. And also, so you have to remember that. But they ultimately had to wait. But they ultimately had to rehire Steve Jobs so he could help mature the company. And then Tim Cook was able to take over. But Apple's already a very mature company by the time Tim Cook took over. So,
but yeah, that's my point. I mean, I'm not saying we need to go through the exact same things that Apple went through, but Elon has given the company direction. And now, because he's interested in other things, because that's how his brain works, he's so scatterbrained, now he's trying to steer the company in all sorts of different directions, and now it's distracted upon itself. What I think is Elon set the direction for the company, And now it's time to get a new CEO that will keep the company going in that direction.
Wait a second. I came up with a better idea. My idea was that Elon Musk should just merge all his companies to one giant company, and then he should have each of those companies headed by a sub CEO, I guess you could say. So that way each division would be focused on their own thing. And so that would be the best thing ultimately.
Well, here, I would have preferred an approach more closer to how Twitter used to be run. Where Elon owns the platform, but someone else who's focused in this area is the actual CEO and responsible for running all of it. If Elon still wants to own Tesla, then you know what? Fine. And like, he's
Actually,
majority
you should just do
shareholder.
that.
He's majority shareholder, so that's fine. If he wants to own the majority of Tesla, that's fine. But in terms of CEO and leading the company, he's done what he needed to do a long time ago, and now because he's so scatterbrained and wants to pursue other things, he's now trying to drag Tesla with him, and that's not what they need to do. Because a big thing that we'll be talking about literally a couple topics from now, might have to rearrange them. For the longest time, Tesla has effectively been stuck with 4, and as of last year, 5 different models for the entire world. The Model S, the Model X, the Model 3, the Model Y, and as of recent, the Cybertruck. That's only 5 products. How many products does GM or Ford or Toyota or Mercedes have to offer? Just to name a few examples.
A lot more.
And why do they offer this many? Albeit some, I think, a little more than they should.
Oh yeah, because so it can optimize to each market.
Yeah, because, I mean, in terms of GM's lineup, and, you know, I'll just focus on Chevy and ignore the other brands. Why do they offer so many different cars? We have the Equinox, we have the Traverse, we have the Blazer, we have the Tahoe, the Suburban. We have all of these different SUVs. Tesla only has 2 crossovers. And that's it. Chevy
To be fair,
has...
I think they should discontinue them.
What?
To be fair, I think they should discontinue them.
Who?
And replace them with minivans or wagons.
Who?
Tesla.
Oh.
Well, and all the other ones too.
I mean, yeah, that's true. We both know that crossovers are overrated at this point, but this is the market that we have right now, and this is what we have as an example to work with. And also probably the most relatable to our viewers. So why do we have all of these different options compared to Tesla only offering the 2?
It's because those companies want to offer a more simple, more complex range, but at the same time, Tesla will need to be careful about this because, I mean, Apple had the same boat back in 1997 before Steve Jobs took over again, which is that they offered way too many freaking products that were way too confusing to understand.
That's true. And I think GM's kind of falling for this trap, and Toyota especially. My God, how many crossovers do they have?
I don't know. Really, I think every car company at this point, conventional car company, except for BMW and Ford to an extent, all those other companies they offer too many cars to the point where it's too confusing. But at least Tesla understands they need to keep their lineup simple so we can understand them.
But I'd argue, at least as of right now, it's a little too simple. Because we have again, I'll use GM's lineup because that's what I'm familiar with. We have the Chevy Equinox. It's the small, compact crossover because you know what? Maybe you don't need anything bigger. Maybe a small, compact car is all you need for your grocery shopping and getting to work and back. Now, again, I'd argue a sedan is more practical, but that's not what we're talking about right now. So they got the Equinox, okay. But what if you need to haul a few more kids? Again, a minivan would be more appropriate, but we live in a world where crossovers are the rage. Well, the Equinox doesn't have 3 rows. So then we can step up to the Traverse. Okay, but what if we want to what if we want to go camping with all of our family members? Well, the Traverse doesn't have a stiff enough frame to tow a camper. Well, then we can upgrade to the Tahoe. Or the Suburban, if you need the more cargo space. So, to me, I really missed when the lineup was that simple of, okay, we have the Trax, which is basically a little hatchback. We have the Equinox, which is the crossover equivalent to what every sedan owner should actually have. Then we have the Traverse for 3 rows, but much more fuel efficient than the Tahoe and the Suburban. But then you have the Tahoe and the Suburban that are more truck-like and can do decent towing. So that to me is how simple the lineup should be. Unfortunately, it's not that simple anymore. And in the case of Toyota, my gosh, how many models do they have? We're not even going to go listing them at this point, but do you see what I'm getting at with the number of vehicles available in GM's crossover lineup? Does it at least seem healthy?
I don't know. I mean, it could be. In my opinion, it could be simplified a little bit more. In my opinion, I think they should just. In my opinion, they should simplify it.
Yeah, it's not simplified right now. I would ideally do for crossovers only. Again, I would rather sedans and minivans, but this is not the world we live in. For crossovers only, I do Equinox. Oh wait. No, come to think of it, GMC actually has it perfectly right now. GMC, they have the Terrain, which is the equivalent to the Equinox. They have the Acadia, which is the equivalent to the Traverse. And then they have the Yukon, the equivalent to the Tahoe and Suburban.
In my opinion, I would rearrange Chevy's lineup like this. I would say Chevy should have a, well, in my opinion, they should have a sedan, so Chevy Cruze, or Chevy Cruze, Chevy Impala, whatever. Then they should have the Corvette for luxury and for performance, or actually just performance. And then they should have the Chevy, Colorado and the Silverado. And then they should have the Chevy Suburban be a old station wagon / minivan like it used to be. And that's it.
But yeah, the point is, how many vehicles did you bring up?
5, and that's how many Tesla has.
But here's the problem with what Tesla has in that lineup right now. We have smaller, mid-size sedan, which arguably is the best car in the world, I think. We then have the compact crossover, which is the Model Y. And then we have their full-size sedan, which is on a completely different pricing structure. And then we have their... full-size crossover would probably be the best term for it. The Model X, which again is also on a completely different pricing bracket compared to the Model Y. The problem is half of the lineup can be compared more towards the Chevys, and then the other half more towards the Cadillacs. So you effectively have... It's unfortunately kind of divided up into 2 cheaper options: cheap sedan, cheap crossover, and expensive sedan and expensive crossover. And because there isn't really anybody who shops like that versus cheap versus expensive. They already have a mindset in mind that basically means, oh, it's either I'm getting the sedan or the crossover.
Very simple. That's hard to get confused.
But here's the problem, especially on the cheaper end. What if you want 3 rows of seats?
Well, then they should sell a minivan instead. That's why they should sell a minivan or wagon instead of a
But that's the
crossover.
thing. They don't. And if Tesla were focused on their mission by developing these electric vehicles, we'd have more than these 2 options.
I don't think they need more than these 2 options. I think they just need to make them all X and Y wagons. That's just what they really need to do. But okay.
Yeah, there's truth on that. It's just the problem is there really genuinely is not enough. There's not enough options for people to choose from. And like the big one going on right now that we are about to discuss, maybe we should finally transition into that. The big one is if you want a Tesla with more than 2 rows of seats, I don't care what body style. If you want a Tesla with more than 2 rows of seats, where's the option that's not priced out the wazoo for most people? It doesn't exist.
Not exact. Okay, I will say in your defense, I think that Tesla should offer one more type of vehicle, and that is a mini truck.
In my opinion, the Cybertruck should be that mini truck. The Cybertruck is way too big.
Some people need bigger trucks, though, so I get that. Like, I mean, some industrial work sites and whatnot do need bigger trucks. So okay, then
they don't need the truck to be that big.
Yeah. I'm talking like the Chevy. The Cybertruck is supposed to be a very heavy. It's supposed to be like a Ford F-350 or something like that.
Oh, dude, no, it's nowhere close. Nowhere close.
Oh, they need to update it then.
Yeah, it is nowhere close to that duty size.
Yeah, they need to, update it to be like an F-350. Okay, that's what Tesla should do. But again, like a smaller pickup would be nice, and I would like to see Tesla. Again, maybe I should just start my own car company and do this. I would like to see Tesla make a blank slate version. I would like to see Tesla do it similar to Slate EV. I want to see them do something similar to that, except with a sedan and possibly an SUV form. Because just think if the Model 2, this Model 2, was just a blank car that had all the necessary components and nothing else.
You do
think
understand.
of how well that would sell.
Well, you do understand that for one, the Slate's going to end up costing around $27,000, right?
Yeah, but I mean, okay, let's see. Imagine if it was in the sedan form factor, though. Imagine how much cheaper it could be than a new Model 3, though.
But here's the problem with that. At that point, when you're talking, and I understand why we lost a lot of cheap, brand new car options in any category. The big reason is, do you buy new with no options, or do you buy used? Do you buy a brand new, bare bones, stripped down vehicle, or do you buy a slightly used, nicer car?
Depends. It depends.
That's going to be the big deciding factor. Now, there are some people that will want like a warranty, which that is offered by new cars, but also take my car, for example. I haven't fully paid it off yet, but once the financing's finally done, it's going to come to a total cost of around $25,000. And when I bought that, it was a 4-year-old car. Not heavily spec'd. It was a little lightly optioned, but still had a nice set of options like the navigation and, oh, do I love the sound system in my car. It is so good. And then the optional hybrid powertrain. That was an option on it too. So it's a 4-year-old. I'm assuming turned in on a lease deal. It wasn't explicitly stated it was turned in on a lease, but with the mileage on it, it seemed like it was turned in from a lease. But in general, I got myself a really nice used car with a warranty. They did give me a 1-year warranty on it. And this is all said and done for $25,000.
Well, in that case, I just rather have a used car. Okay, then
That's the problem.
Idea of a blank slate
In
car.
fact, yeah, I think that would be the problem if Tesla were to try to build a sedan like that, because for one, oh come on, do not derail this train. Do not derail this train.
Is train in your area?
So, effectively, when people buy a sedan, there's not many people left that do. We're the exception today. But when we buy a sedan, most of the time it's because we're not asking too much from our car, other than to get us from point A to point B, be relatively efficient, and just fit the few groceries that we need to pack into. We're not asking too much from our car, but we know we need a car. But at the same time, I think people like us, buying a sedan, we care about value too much, and we would see that we are getting so much more value in a slightly used, nicer car than a bare bones new car for the same price.
That's true.
We'd be more value oriented consumers, especially when we're talking $25,000, because at this point the average selling price for a car today is stupidly at around $50,000. My goodness. But yeah, people like us, we'd be more value conscious, and we want to be making sure that we maximize what we're getting for our dollar. And we know we'd be getting more for a used car every time over a brand new bare bones car, which is why those options have been disappearing from the market.
That's a valid point, but shall I go ahead and move on to our next topic, since we still have we still have 20 topics.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure we're going to get through all of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that we're having this conversation, but yeah, anywho, speaking of the lineup, we should finally move into this.
So Tesla has just reduced the price of the Model Y in Canada by $20,000.
I'm trying to recall, wasn't it raised because of some tariff or something? I remember that it was raised about $20,000 because of some government-related thing. I think it was a tariff, but don't quote me on that. So, I mean, it's good for Canadians.
Oh, yes, it was due to tariffs.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So,
I mean, that's still good that they reduced the price, though.
and by $20,000, I'm assuming. Question: is that $20,000 Canadian or U.S.?
Canadian.
Okay, so that's about a $15,000 U.S. price decrease, which is still a significant amount.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good for Canadians looking for electric Tesla crossovers. I hope the Model 3 can get a similar discount at some point because clearly the Model 3 is a better car than the Model Y. Just saying.
Agreed, but speaking of the Model Y, shall we move on to Tesla Model Y L?
Yes. And this is what I mean by Tesla needs more options for people to choose from. Now, is this the right option that we should be focusing on? Of course not. But because we live in America, this is sadly what we get.
Well, this is isn't the Tesla Model Y L exclusive to China, though?
It will be at first, but dude, the demand for 3-row crossovers here in America, like it or not, it's a lot higher than you think. And the competition...
I am aware.
Yeah. And a big problem with a lot of 3-row crossovers right now, they're either really expensive... Actually, come to think of it, I think they're all pretty expensive because, like, Kia EV9, despite that it's a Kia, it still starts at, like, $60,000. It's not cheap.
The only Kia you should be paying that much for is a Stinger.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. The EV9 does give you a lot of standard equipment for the base model. But still, around the $60,000 price range for a base model Kia, that's
you can get BMW for just $2,000 more. You can get a brand new BMW M2.
Yeah, that's... Well, albeit that'll have only 2 rows of seating, not 3, but...
Actually, I think that'll have... That's actually a coupe, so...
Oh, that's even worse, so...
But still, that's
I mean, I'm still trying to keep it in the same form factor here. The point is, the 3-row crossover space right now is made up of basically the Model X, the Kia EV9, the Hyundai Ioniq 9, I think, is it on sale yet? If not, it's real close, but it's still up there in price with Kia EV9. The Mercedes, the Mercedes S-Class SUV, or EQS, that's what it is, EQS SUV, that has a 3rd row, and the Lucid Gravity, and the Rivian R1S. What do all of those have in common?
High price tag.
Exactly. So if this new Model Y L were to come in to the 3-row crossover space here in America at a more affordable price,
it's sadly going to go bonkers.
That thing is going to sell like hotcakes. Yeah, I would imagine that being a more popular option, especially for the price tag. So, again, this is where I want Tesla to focus. Not on FSD, not on AI, not on, Optimus. Focus on the cars. Because come to think of it, there are so many other opportunities that Tesla could enter. I would love to see them enter the minivan space. I would love them to. Because right now, who's the only competitor in the passenger minivan space?
Gas-powered cars.
Technically, no. We do have an electric minivan. A passenger minivan.
Like fully electric?
Yeah. Think retro. It's a little retro themed.
An old EV? No.
It's a German brand. Think retro German.
Volkswagen!
You got it! The ID
Volkswagen
Buzz!
ID Buzz.
Right now, the ID Buzz is the only electric minivan in the market. So, yeah, I would love to see Tesla go into that space. The Model X is kinda minivan in some aspects. But they still market it as a 3-row crossover. Although I'm not entirely sure what vehicle it is supposed to be because those Falcon Wing doors really make you question its form factor.
Yeah. When I first saw Tesla Model X and Y, I thought they were just bigger sedans.
Yeah, which, funnily enough, I still remember this distinctly. Dude, the Model X, despite it being Tesla's biggest crossover, it drives exactly like the Model S. It drives like a sedan.
When I turn 18 and can test drive Teslas at my local showroom, my plan is to test drive the whole sexy lineup and the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if I'll get sedan vibes from the Model X or not.
Yeah, it felt so weird. The Model S and the Model X almost drive perfectly identical. There's slight differences. But, dude, the Model X, despite it being Tesla's biggest crossover, it drives so much like a sedan. Which is another reason why I love it. Because you know how much I love driving sedans.
Same.
So.
I mean, we even took a sedan, my dad and I even took a sedan up on a road trip, and it was awesome to drive. And furthermore, well, we actually took my car because my dad's M6.
Okay, I was going to ask, was it the M6 or your C-Class?
No, it was my Mercedes C300. And I mean, believe it or not, it does have enough room to fit 2 suitcases and all the stuff and some of the stuff that we bought.
Oh, dude, I've managed to fit 5 people, all their luggage, bags of clothes, and 42 dozen duck eggs into my car.
Yeah. Now, granted, my car I don't think is quite as big as yours, but
no, the C-Class is definitely smaller than my car.
Oh, right. I remember why we stole from. It's because I have all my car. It's because I have my car emergency kit and all my car related equipment, like windshield fluid, which reminds me that my windshield wiper fluid bottle is leaking, so it's on the ground in the parking lot. But it has like basically all the utilities you need for a car in my trunk as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's old radio.
Mm-hmm.
So I store quite a lot in my car.
Yeah, but anyway, tying it back to our topic, the Model Y, the YL. There is a lot of opportunity for that, and there are a couple things that actually excite me about it, despite that it's a crossover. It will, for one, probably be the most efficient 3-row crossover you can buy.
Ooh, people do care about efficiency.
Yeah, especially in the electric space. So that also means Tesla's able to put a smaller battery in it, because the range won't be hurt as bad. And this is also, for your guys' information, they're not just doing what they did with the previous 7-seater Model Y, the pre-refresh Model Y, where they basically just put a 3rd row in the trunk and did nothing else, because there was basically no headroom, no legroom in that car at all. This time they are actually stretching the dimensions of the car a little bit. And if I recall, it's like 3 inches shorter than a Model X now, compared to, I think the Model Y is a foot shorter than the Model X. I don't know, but that's not important. But yeah, they are going to stretch the length, and most importantly, the height of the ceiling in the 3rd row, because that pretty much didn't exist in the last one. So there might actually be a usable 3rd row this time around. And it'll still most likely be in the most efficient form factor. And it's still the rest of the powertrain and all that. It's pretty much the Model Y that you all love so much, that I despise so much. Well, technically it's the same powertrain as the Model 3, just in a different chassis, but yeah, the same 82 kilowatt hour battery pack, the same rear, and the same 2 motors that they use in the Model Y, except for whatever they haven't got. Same exact powertrain. So will it be slightly less efficient than the standard 2-row Model Y? Yeah, because it's getting a little bigger. But I don't think you're going to lose that much efficiency. So that means it's still going to have some of the best range in the competition. It's going to be cheaper to charge that, because smaller battery, more efficient. Oh, and it still has all the NACs and the supercharger network that we all love. So genuinely, I don't know why this didn't come sooner. This felt so long overdue, and this is why I argue Tesla has been distracted.
I mean, that's a good point, because another thing I want to add on is that Tesla oftentimes tries out new things, new products in the Eastern market before they bring them to the West.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Model 3 Highland, that was debuted in Europe first. Which
In the Middle
totally
East.
makes sense. Totally makes sense in Europe. Because they love smaller cars. And the Model 3 is a small car.
Yeah, when I went to Europe, I saw mostly smaller cars.
Yeah. So
I mean, they
debuting
also
it
have
in
to be
Europe
small
made...
since...
Yeah, it made a ton of sense to do that. And then the Model Y in China also made a ton of sense to debut it there. Now, why they don't debut it here in America is kind of annoying me. It is. Because Tesla is an American company, and yet they never showcase their products in America first. Why? I don't know. But, yeah, despite that, right now, people aren't really talking about this thing coming to the U.S. I would not be shocked that Tesla would want to bring this to the U.S. and start selling it, because judging by what it's competing against, if people can get past the stupid political baggage that Elon has put on this company, this thing is going to sell like hotcakes.
And there's some people that we know can get behind it, so...
I just
have a good
hope
feeling
that...
about the-
Yeah, I just hope that it all blows over sooner rather than
Same.
later. And I know Elon stepping down as CEO would help that a lot. But again, that's not the primary reason why I want him to step down, as I've already gone off on that a bunch. But, dude, this is what excites me. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to make videos about. In fact, despite that, tomorrow I'm trying to clean up my hard drive space, because I filmed a couple of other car reviews that need to be edited, so I'm trying to clean up the hard drive space. So tomorrow I got one of those car reviews going up. But genuinely, I think this weekend, I might actually make a video. Because this is what I want to see.
Because you have the passion for it. If the passion, in my opinion, if you just need to find your passion, because, you know, maybe you should focus, I think in my opinion, you should just focus more on passion over than quantity, because that seems to be what you're better at.
Genuinely, I agree with that. That's really what I care about. And for so long, it just hasn't been there. But dude, this is what I love. I love seeing new options available for people. And this is what I want to talk about in the EV space. I also am excited for charging stuff, and I've been excited about that. That's just because that moves so slowly. I can't make a lot of videos about that. But when I see more EVs come out with NACs, and when I see brand new models get introduced, this is what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Elon and his politics. I don't want to talk about the EV tax credit going away, because I don't care about that stuff. I care about the cars, and this excites me. Even if it is yet another crossover.
Exactly, but just real quickly before we move on, can I go ahead and grab my MacBook charger because it's at 21%?
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it. Yep.
Oh, by the way, I just brought my USB-C charger to charge my MacBook, so I can pack through the cables.
I don't have to worry too much about charging my computer anymore because, well, my computer's always plugged in.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I should. Yeah, I don't always keep my devices plugged in, so... Well, I'm also on the road, so it's a little harder for me too right now.
Yeah. You know what? I think I might actually end up keeping the iMac. Because my parents...
always there, so...
Yeah, my parents tell me that not to... They have a problem with basically returning a product used. That's their reasoning why they want me to keep it now or just sell it later on eBay. But I mean, just in general, I mean, I've gone off about the keyboard enough, but the display is beautiful. I love having the built-in webcam with center stage. It allows me one less setup item for for podcasting. In fact, literally all I have to do now is just open OBS, open Discord, put my headphones on, and the iMac is all set up. I'm all set to go.
Now I understand why I like using my Mac for just plainly for doing my podcast, because I can easily do the podcast on the road without without a sweat.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm on the road, then yeah, I'll use the MacBook's built-in webcam, but the built-in webcam was not in a good spot on my desk before. That's why I never used it, and that's why I always use continuity camera.
Yeah. I mean, the built-in webcam on MacBook isn't exactly in a good spot. That's because these chairs are kind of short, because apparently being 6'1", I don't even know if I'm that anymore. Apparently being at least 6'1" is not
What,
ideal
are you
for
6'2"
most
at this
standards.
point?
I don't know. I haven't been measured in a year.
Last I checked, I'm still at my stupid short 5'8". Shorter
Yeah,
than the average adult male. Why? I don't know.
Well, of course, if you marry a tall woman, you can reverse those genes.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Is that my dad and his brother? They're like 6'1", somewhere around there. So if I had to guess, it's something from my mom.
I mean, my dad's also 6'1". My dad's also 6'1" right now, and I'm slightly taller than him. But my mom. But the main reason why I'm probably that high is because one of my grandfathers was 6'3", the other one was 6'4", and my mom is also 5'11".
So yeah, you just got tall people in the family in general. My mom's like 5'5", I think. So I'm only 3 inches taller than her. But
Dang.
no, I would not be shocked if both of my sisters surpassed me in height, which it would be real embarrassing, as I'm the oldest child in the family. So
Hopefully it doesn't happen.
I hope not, but well, things never go in my favor. So anywho, we are wildly off topic, and we got how many topics to get through? Let's get through the rest of these.
Let's talk about a stupid topic now.
Oh yeah, this weird thing. What?
So Congress is now proposing mandating AM radios in cars in the U.S. as some car brands like BMW, Mazda, and Tesla have already removed, and I think Volkswagen have already removed, and Mercedes have all removed them. But they're going to mandate AM radios in cars in the U.S. even though first of all, the noise of electric motors interferes with AM radio in the first place, which is why Tesla doesn't include them. So, but this will likely let EVs use digital-only AM radios to lower interference, but still not a perfect solution, mind you. And it includes a test to see if that AM radio is the best way to receive urgent messages, which I totally agree with, since the problem with this stupid mandate is that, first of all, there's two problems. Number one, no one uses AM radio anymore.
Well,
and if you do use
that's not true.
I mean, okay, people do use AM radio on a kind of, but I see mostly.
Okay, I am going to say, and this is specifically regional, where I'm located, because we are where we are. A lot of people will tend to put the AM radio on because of general geography. AM radio does have a better reach than FM.
Okay.
And
AM
funny
radio
enough, I actually used to listen to AM radio, like back in 2020, 2021.
Well, in that case, okay. AM radio does have its benefits, I will admit that. But I still don't think it should be legally forced upon to include a change when that, first of all, interferes with EV motors.
No, it doesn't interfere with the motors. It's the motors that interferes with the signal.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. So to be clear, because like if I recall, GM's EVs technically still have it.
Yeah.
So, but what's the quality of it? I don't know. I haven't listened to the AM radio in those electric cars, but But yeah, just because it has AM radio doesn't mean it's going to harm your electric vehicle. It's the electric vehicle that's messing with the signals. That's why a lot of EVs don't include it.
I meant to say that. I just got my words mixed up.
Yep. So, just to clarify that.
That's aside the point. But but around where I live, not many people use AM radio.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're what, an hour from your closest city or something like that?
Yes, and there's yes.
So yeah, in that case, you're going to have, if you do listen to the radio, you're going to have a wide variety of FM options that are going to be much clearer.
There's actually 2 cities that I live close enough to get radio reception from. FM radio reception from, I should say.
I don't even know where our FM... No, it is here in Houghton. Right, you drive past it on 41. Though, yeah, if I recall, I believe that like my closest FM stations are... There's one here in Houghton, and then... Is it in Ironwood or Iron Mountain? Because those are in completely different directions. I don't know, but either way, we don't have a lot of FM radio options up here, which has its pros and its cons, actually. Because we have so few options, it means the signal is much more... Well, it's a much clearer signal. You have fewer interferences between the different radio signals, so...
That's true. Or actually, satellite radio is another type of radio, is the most common type of radio I hear alongside FM.
Oh, yeah, and that sucks here, actually. Satellite radio sucks up here.
Oh, yes, I can imagine. It's not the greatest in my area, too, but that's... I get that AM radio has its uses, but if you really need AM radio, then I think you should just buy a dedicated AM radio. I don't think cars should have to include it, since for the majority of Americans, for a good amount of Americans, they live close enough to FM radio stations that they're going to be fine with it. And there's a lot of Americans, such as myself, that don't even use radio.
Yeah, because these days, most people, I'd argue, have moved on to cars that allow you to connect your phone in some way or another. The only exceptions that I see are those who are completely broke and can barely afford a car as is, or those driving around in older trucks that buy them because they are solely looking for work vehicles.
Exactly. When I was driving up to where I am now, I connected my phone via CarPlay and listened that Rascal Flatts song these days. That was one of the songs.
That's one of the songs I wake up to.
That's actually my favorite song by them.
I'm trying to figure out which one is mine. I'm leaning mostly on Rewind. I think that's my favorite.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh, so it's such a good one.
Again, Rascal Flatts isn't exactly... Rascal Flatts, and they don't seem to be the most popular where I am.
Yeah, you think they're a country band and you're in the Southeast, but... Actually, if I recall, I think they grew up in Ohio, if I recall correctly.
Most of the country music that I hear down where I am is mostly the pop country, like Zach Bryan and Morgan Wallen and all that stuff. And Darius Rucker, sometimes you hear him.
Yep. But...
And of course, there's the old legacy country that gets played a lot where I am, like Johnny Cash, George Strait.
Mm-hmm. So, but at this point, like radios and cars, a lot of people don't really use them anymore because we've got our phones for that. And it's like, even my mom, who's one of the slowest people to adopting new technology, now her new car has Android Auto.
She uses it?
I showed her it. I don't think she's used it just yet, but she's aware of it. And no, actually, I think she did use it on her road trip when she came home on the 4th of July. So
I mean, CarPlay is practical for on my road trip because my dad's M6 doesn't have CarPlay. On my road trip, I showed my dad how to connect because my dad loves Waze so much. Or my dad insists on using Waze for navigation while he does interstate driving. He likes to I showed him he wanted to get a phone mount. We were at this Love's. We stopped at this Love's truck stop because he wanted to get a phone mount for his phone. And I told him you don't need one because you can just put Waze up on CarPlay on my car. And I showed him how to do that, and he was instantly blown away.
yeah, I mean, my parents almost never use navigation unless they're going to somewhere they're completely unfamiliar with.
Same.
So, like, even when we take long road trips to Wisconsin or to Petoskey or elsewhere, they basically never pull up Google Maps for not even for like traffic data.
Yeah, I don't even.
So
The only time I ever do it is when I'm driving in an unfamiliar business district, and I need to know where exactly my turns are and whatnot.
Even then, also, most of the time when we are going somewhere new, they do it old school, where they pull out old paper maps. Well, not all the time, but like getting to a city, they'll do it this way. But if they're looking for a specific business, then they'll go to Google Maps for that. But when looking how to get to a city, they just pull out old maps and
That's what I do.
And study them and memorize the waypoints.
That's what I do. That's what I do, except for the fact that I look up, that I just look up where I need to go on Apple Maps first, and then I just get, okay, here's the gist. I know where I'm going, all that stuff, and that's what ultimate. And even my grandmother, her 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee doesn't even support anything like CarPlay, but
no, of course not.
But even she doesn't rely on GPS. Is what she does, even to get to a specific place. Is that my grandmother uses MapQuest. Still.
Oh yeah, yep. I've heard of that site. Wow. It's been years since I've used that actually, but either way, yeah, I don't think a lot of people use radio these days, especially because, like, if my mom, one of the slowest people to adopt new technologies, now has a car with Android Auto, then and it's like I'm seeing fewer and fewer older cars on the road, aside from dirt cheap cars being bought by teenagers because they're broke and have no money, or again, there are trucks being used as utility vehicles.
Same.
And so most adults, most people that are not in Gen Z at this point, where millennials and Gen X, most of these people have newer cars that support Android Auto and Apple CarPlay and that type of stuff. And I would assume they just use their phone, assuming that they know
my
that
dad
the
actually
feature
doesn't
exists.
have a car that's. My dad actually doesn't use.
Well, he's
CarPlay,
not the
but
average car buyer.
Yes, no. My father is a very unusual type of car buyer because I've had to grow up to the fact that my dad is very allergic to the idea of new cars.
He's not the only one, believe me. Believe me. So, anywho, we've beaten that horse. Time to.
Actually, there's one thing I want to mention on this topic about AM radios being mandated in cars in the U.S. and the main reason why I think it's happening.
All right, what is it?
Well, first of all, this will expire in 1 decade, and they're going to study to see if AM radio is the best way. But I think the real reason is because a lot of congressmen and congresswomen appear on AM talk shows.
Sadly, that is kind of true. I mean, back when I was listening to AM radio, was because of Rush Limbaugh. Don't know if you heard of him.
Who's
So-
he?
He is one of the most highly respected from both parties. He is one of the most highly respected political analysts and political commentators. Even though politics isn't my thing, the reason why I was listening to him was because this was back when I was going to Minocqua, Wisconsin for vision therapy appointments every single week. And he was always on when my dad and I got in the car and drove all the way down. And so we were listening to Rush Limbaugh until he sadly had passed away.
Aw.
Yeah, despite that one party in particular, I think it might be obvious. I'm trying not to get political here, but despite one party in particular tried to cancel him, you don't cancel Rush Limbaugh. Unless you really want to make yourself look like a freaking idiot. But yeah, he was one of the most respected political commentators in the industry. But he's gone now. Who's he been replaced by? He's been replaced by two people, actually. Two people I don't care for, but that again, I don't care about politics, so.
All right, well, shall I move on to our next topic?
Yes, because we got, what, 20 minutes left?
So if you use Gmail, which I don't, or I mean I do, but I just have it linked to my iCloud, and that's only for my YouTube channel because I don't want to give out my iCloud email, but Gmail Active Subscriptions is a section that only shows emails relating to active subscriptions. That filters out your inbox.
So, in other words, it's now combining all of your useless junk mail into one box so you can go in and unsubscribe from them all. I like that.
Actually, that's kind of handy.
Yeah, I think I actually like that.
Same.
Putting all of your subscription junk emails into one spot so you can just unsubscribe from it all. That's smart. Now, it would be even smarter if they automatically unsubscribed when detecting that stuff. But But yeah, the fact that they're now sorting out subscription-based email like this is awesome. I'm so tired of getting the same things over and over just by hitting the unsubscribe button. So if I can just shove it all into one corner and never have to touch it, that'll be awesome.
Shall I move on to something that is... Shall I move on to some artificial intelligence, both literally and figuratively?
Of course, it's always both literal and figurative.
So,
you've got to be kidding me. What?
There's a new wave AI web browser. So, Perplexity now has Comet, which is a Chromium-based AI browser. OpenAI is releasing an AI-based web browser to rival Chrome, which I think they're calling it Operator, yeah. And then Gemini is being integrated into Chrome, and then the browser company who made Arc, which I thought they were bankrupt, but okay. They released Dig, which is also AI-based. There's a reason I combined all these into one topic, and it's because they're all the same.
And because they all belong straight into here. Oh, you can't see it. I forgot to shut my camera off on you. For reference, I'm holding up a trash can.
When I edit it in post, I'll see it.
Yeah. They all belong in the trash.
Yep, AI is useless. We've gone into that. Shall we move on to our next topic? Because we only have 19 minutes left of recording.
Alright, let's do a rapid fire through these rumors.
So the iPhone 17 Air is rumored to have a titanium housing, a camera on the left side of the dynamic island instead of the right like usual, and it'll come in finishes of light blue, gold, black, and white.
Interesting. Despite that the rumors are aluminum for the Pro series.
There's been some rumors that are contradicting that, so...
Dude, what are they going to price this phone at? There's no way this thing's going to be under $1,000.
The 17 Air is rumored to be at $900, but...
Oh, wait, that's... I don't know. Pricing of this whole phone has been a complete mess.
Same.
It's driving me nuts. I think this is one of the few products ever that I can't wait to be released. Not because I'm excited for it, but it's because I'm so infuriated and I just want to be done with the rumors and the arguing all about this whole thing. Done. Okay, fine. We're past this abomination. Next, what's next?
Alright, so the iPhone 17 is rumored to come in colors of green, light blue, purple, black, steel gray, and white.
Steel gray, is that going to be a new marketing term for Apple?
That's just what Twitter used, so I'm hoping that Apple will use the term space gray or slate or graphite or one of their older terms, but no, steel gray is just what Twitter reported. I doubt Apple will use that, but again, you never know.
How many different grays do they have?
They love their silver, as my mom said. The MacBook Pro. This is back when the MacBook Pro, before space black was added. But in my mom's words, the MacBook Pro comes in two colors: silver and darker silver.
Yep. Bring in Justin Long. Bring in Justin Long. It's gray and grayer.
And grayer.
Yep. All right. That's butchered. Next up.
The iPhone 17 Pro is rumored to come in colors of apparently orange, yes, dark blue instead of the light blue I was previously rumored, black, gray, and white like usual.
Yeah, I think I'll keep the Desert Titanium 16 Pro Max. Thank you very much.
If I want to upgrade to 17 Pro, if they release dark blue, oh boy, that's going to be a great color.
Yep. All right, next.
The iPhone 17 Pro Max is rumored to feature an about 5,000 milliamp hour battery.
If I recall, that'd be a first for iPhone, period.
Yes.
They've never had a battery that broke 5,000 milliamp hours. And yet, Android phones for years have all had 5,000 plus milliamp hour batteries.
Sounds like the iPhone 17 Pro Max might be a tank in battery life, which is actually something that's kind of, okay,
it's long
batteries
overdue.
Okay, I will say this, as Tabby and I have stayed way back in the original episodes of TIFP, if you need longer battery life in your phone, then you're likely too addicted to it, and that's true. Okay, yeah. I'll admit that.
Unless you're using your camera for work.
Yeah.
Because when you're recording video, that is the most power-demanding thing you can do, and I can completely drain my 13 Pro Max in 3 hours just from recording videos.
Okay, that's a different type of situation, but for most people that complain about iPhone's battery life are just too addicted to TikTok.
That is true, yeah, but for those actually using it for work or something like that, it's always appreciated.
This is a game. But this is going to be great for those who actually use it for work, and for those of you who are addicted to TikTok, always should reconsider how you spend your time.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that'll be great for you if you want to keep doom scrolling. But shall we move on to our next topic, which is actually a very fascinating one?
Well, it depends on who you ask, but go for it.
Apple is rumored to launch a 32-inch mini LED display later this year.
I have a concern.
What is that?
It's the same concern that I always have. It's a problem that just haunts all of Apple's standalone displays. It's just going to be too expensive for what it has to offer.
You're probably correct.
Because the studio display bothers me. I love the design of it, but for a 27-inch monitor, albeit it's 5K, yeah, sure, a 27-inch monitor with a panel designed definitely over a decade ago now that I think about it. It was one. It's the same panel as on the first 5K iMac, and that came out. That is not a new product. That I think that came out in 2013, if I recall correctly.
2014.
Okay, so it's basically a 10-year-old panel, and at the time
It
when the
was already 8
studio
years
display
old when
came
it
out, yeah, well, at the time when the studio display came out, it was effectively an 8-year-old panel on a product that, at the end of the day, costs $1,600.
Let me look at how much 2014 iMac costs today.
It's not going to be a lot, but
24,
it's just...
I'm just curious, just in case for my collection, but iMac 27 5K. Dang, these are expensive. Okay, like they're like $200.
Oh gosh.
That's
and
a
that's
lot
with
for
a
that
whole
kind of
computer on the inside.
I mean, that's a lot of money for that type of computer, but still, just goes to show you how overpriced the studio display is. 8 times overpriced.
Yeah, it's.
Because
all of the other tech reviewers have already put it simply. Everyone has said it really is a bad value, and the only reason why you should buy it is because you legit care about design that much, where you have to value design over money. And this is my problem with the Pro Display XDR. Well, that monitor is actually fairly competitive in its market segment, but dude, it's $6,000.
And it's 60 hertz.
That too. And at the same time, the studio display, we were hoping it would actually be more reasonable for a consumer to buy. It is nowhere near close for the average consumer to justify spending, unless they are an enthusiast. And so,
no. Even
despite that, yeah, I like to hear that
display.
Apple's working on a new 32-inch big monitor. I just know it is not going to be priced reasonably. And at that point, why bother?
Exactly, but yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Shall we move on to the early 2026 MacBook Pro?
For what I'm hearing in the leaks and rumors, this is one to skip.
It's just going to have an M5 chip, and I guess this goes hand in hand with our next topic, which is that in late 2026 it is going to get refreshed with an M6 chip, and that'll be a whole complete redesign.
I really hope they put Face ID on it.
Same.
Because if they do,
and I hope they make it
that'll be the number one thing that gets me to upgrade my
bar.
M1 MacBook Pro.
If they put a touch bar back on it, or else if they make it thinner, then okay, I'll wait till 2027 for financial reasons, but
yeah, fair enough. But
yeah,
I'm more excited to see what the redesign is. But yeah, guys, don't fall for the M5 one. Like, unless your laptop breaks that very day and you need a new one, then of course get yourself a laptop then. But if you think that if your laptop is working just fine, do not get the M5.
Unless you want to get a discount when the M6 comes out, or unless you don't think your computer will be able to hold it until late 2026.
So, yeah, that's what I have to say on that. I'm more excited for the redesign, not the refresh M5. I don't even think there's anything exciting worth mentioning about the M5. So,
no.
All right, next.
Speaking of the M6 chip, it will be 2 nanometers for the first time.
I'm trying to remember. Is Intel on their still on? Isn't Intel still on their 7 nanometer process?
Apparently, Intel is at the 5 nanometer mark as of 2024.
Well, even then, Apple's on 3.
Apparently in 2025, apparently they started 3 nanometer, but that was still 2 years later.
I don't know when Intel started that, but I don't know. It's just another thing to love about Apple Silicon. It's so efficient, and scaling it down like this only helps it.
Exactly.
So,
but
yeah, that's
next
cool.
top. Shall we move on to our next topic, which is, well, we know what Alpha's going to say about this one. He's about to go on a big rant on iPads, how they're not professional. Which is that the M5 is debuting in the iPad Pro this fall.
Once again,
Okay.
that's, yep, it's not the problem. just saying, it's not solving the problem with iPads.
I mean, I'll take an M5 chip, but yeah, it's still doesn't do professional enough things. But moving on, the Vision Pro 2, which is, yes, it's useless, but it's going to get a redesigned strap finally. And even though it's releasing apparently later this year, it's going to have an M4 chip at the same time the M5 will come out. And this is on a multi-$1,000 product, mind you.
Yeah, I see this selling even worse than the initial one.
Same everybody's already tested out Vision OS. They all know how useful it is.
It's not.
There's nothing going for this headset unless they drop the price, but even then, it's still, people are still going to say it's too expensive.
Yeah, I really don't have much to say. Even though, to tie it into the next thing, even though supposedly this is not supposed to get redesigned until 2027 or whatever, it's I don't even think, I think the problem is it's existing too early, because the majority of what makes up a lot of its issues, it's not really its fault. It's just, I also think in part of the reason why the Vision Pro's failure happened is we've built so much of our infrastructure around smartphones and not VR headsets.
Same.
And because of that, VR headsets are not anywhere near ready for being integrated into daily use like what a lot of people want it to be. A lot of people are trying to say, oh, this is the next big iPhone.
It's
absolutely not. No, it's not even close. Because the iPhone made such a huge impact on the way we do things. And even though, yeah, the function of the Vision Pro is so different, while, yes, there are times where different does mean better, there are also a significant handful of times where sometimes different does not necessarily mean better.
Exactly.
And I think that's the problem with the Vision Pro. It's a problem with a lot of new tech that's come out lately. Artificial intelligence, foldables. We all want to see new things because we're bored.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just, we don't want to change things because, for one, what we have right now is working so well, there's no problem. There's not a problem to solve. The only problem that all of these companies are trying to solve right now is the problem that tech enthusiasts are bored out of their minds right now.
And that's the problem that they ultimately created.
Yep. So, yeah, I don't think there's any more left to share on Vision Pro. So what's next?
Alright, so the AirTag 2 is rumored to launch this September, and it'll have a rechargeable battery. I'm just hoping the battery will still be easy to replace.
I'm assuming they're going to use USB-C? Hopefully?
I hope so. Or else an Apple Watch Puck. That would work well. That would be fine, too.
Depends on where the AirTag's located.
That's true.
So, I'd rather it be done via USB-C.
Same.
So,
But at the same time, I still want them to make the batteries easier to replace that way, because ultimately circuitry. Because I like the ease. The modularity of the AirTag is very convenient, I will admit, and I can't show you it right now because my dad took my car, and hence and therefore my car keys. Which have my AirTag on them.
Yeah, I hope that they make not necessarily. Why do we want to see the easy to remove battery? It's that way if someone tries to stalk you with one, you can easily deactivate it.
Yeah, that's why I want. That's why Apple designed it that way, and ultimately what I want to see in the second generation AirTag is I just want to see them make it. I just want to see Apple make it more compact, I want them to add a keychain.
That would
attachment hole directly.
It would be nice if they actually integrated a proper attachment method instead of you got to buy a case for it.
I mean, if AirPods can do it, and if the iPod Touch 5th generation can do it, then so can an AirTag.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, speaking of AirPods, shall we move on to our next topic because we only have a few minutes left?
Don't make me start wondering if I just bought my AirPods Pro too soon.
Same with my case, but AirPods Pro 3 have been found in iOS 26's code, which means they might be coming soon.
Yeah. To be honest, though, the feature set that I'm hearing about, I really don't care. All I care about when it comes to sound products, I really don't care about the feature set all that much other than noise cancellation and transparency.
And those are sound.
Yeah. Other than that, it is 100% sound. Again, I'm an audiophile, so of course, but like all of this adaptive EQ and personalized, no. I don't care for any of that.
I just want listening to be simple.
No, not only just make it simple, but do not try to mess with sound quality. I mean, if you want, equalizers are important, but don't try to make them adaptive or do all of no. If we want to control the EQ, we will do it ourselves and dial it into what we're happy with. But
also, you can do that
not
manually
screw
with
sound
iPhones.
quality.
It's like what happened with my car's infotainment system because you literally have to custom set it to you can either set it to a specific genre or else you have to tweak it yourself in my car's Sony infotainment system because they figure if you're modding your own car, then you might as well mod the EQ, which is very irritating for people who listen to multiple genres of music like myself. But our next topic
I found a good setting that works with all of my devices. Most of the time, it's the factory default because they know the sound system best, and so they're going to try to tune it so it sounds its best. But if you're a very specific type of listener, then you can dial it into your preferences. But if you don't listen to a specific type of music, then use the factory default because that's usually what works best. But yeah, in general, I don't care about any of the heart rate monitoring things or the temperature monitoring thing, whatever Apple's going to put into these AirPods Pro 3s as we've been discussing over the past how many months. Don't matter. Just focus on sound.
All right. And I guess I should say that we're now out of time.
What's this? 2025 iPad Pro rotating. Oh.
The Apple logo will be rotated to be landscape orientation instead of portrait.
Mm-hmm.
On that.
And what's with your Apple Watch topic?
Oh, the Apple Watch Series 11 and Ultra 3, they're apparently getting 5G according to rumors. I know, super exciting.
Hold on. You mean these devices have been using LTE this entire time?
Of course, I believe they're just fine.
And how many people care?
None.
my god! For anyone who still hadn't figured out that 5G was completely overmarketed and overhyped in the same way AI is this not proof right there?
I think it is proof, but it's okay if we end the show because my dad's probably coming back right about now, and somebody really has to use the restroom.
Yeah, if we finish all the topics up, then yeah, I'd like to eat something for dinner too. So,
it is 9:02 p.m. where I am right now because I am in the Eastern time zone.
Yes,
like
it is
Alpha.
ever rare we are in the same time zone.
But as always, thank you all for tuning into another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Teddy Macker from the iTunes Fanboy.
And my name is Alpha DeWolf from the maybe returning at some point Random Alpha. I don't know. We'll find out.
And as always, we're saying peace out for now, and we hope to see you all in the next episode.
See ya.